You're listening to Higher Self Wellness with Alec Hurley once again. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for coming back. If you are new to the show, I'm going to give you a big virtual hug and a high five and saying, hey, how you doing? All right. Maybe you got a chance to listen to the last episode. This is the beginning of a series of a few different shows talking about the spring, because this is one of the biggest transitions that we go through during the entire year, from winter into spring, and then as well as summer into fall. So it's really important to be paying attention to what we're eating, how we're moving. We're taking time to rest, and we want to balance that with time to activate the body and come back into balance, essentially. So in the last one, I spoke about activating the body, making sure that you're moving and exercising, sweating, and I briefly spoke about the 3 ways in which the body expels toxins and waste. And again, that is from the sweat. We do that through movement or through sitting in a sauna. Also through the urine. We do that through staying properly hydrated and drinking plenty of fluids, and as well as through the bowels. So making sure that our body is really able to let go of the physical, the dense, all that material that we don't need. So we want to keep those 3 areas moving. And what I also spoke about then was then adding in pranayama, so controlled breathing practices that really help keep the mind clear and just keep all of the other energy systems in the body nice and moving. So today I want to talk about food and how we can begin to shift what we're eating to create more balance in the body, and then how that is going to help us create more balance in the mind. But before I do that, I just want to invite you all to check out the website. A couple different ways you can connect with me on there. You can work with me in many different ways, whether that is just through yoga, through meditation, or through a private in-home retreat. You can also sign up for a free next step strategy session with me, where we explore kind of what you want to do, and then how we can hopefully shine some light on some nice sustainable action steps that you can begin to take. And also on there, you can sign up for the free video series, Start Your Day Right. That is a practice to integrate your mind and your body first thing in the morning, setting the tone for your day, so you can just move through the day feeling connected, more connected to that inner guide. All right, so today, like in the spring, nature makes some dramatic shifts. And after that long winter, right? Winter can be very long, especially in certain parts of the planet where we are eating in and needing these fats and these proteins that really help us feel nourished and insulated. When the spring starts to hit, we need this insulation to go. So we need the body to begin to shift and purge and let go of any accumulation that we may have collected during the winter, so we can begin to lighten the body, lighten the mind, lighten the tissues, so we don't feel so heavy when the heat comes back around. And if we don't do this, then all this extra stored accumulation can cause congestion in the lymphatics, and that can, inhibit proper digestion, proper elimination, and then just bog down the entire body from top to bottom. And we don't want that to happen, because if we let go of all this stuff, if we really purge the body and give it what it needs to release all this extra stored accumulation, then we can detox the body, we can absorb all the nutrients, and we can just enter into the spring and the summer feeling a little bit lighter. Really important stuff. So, a couple different things I want to talk about here is lightening up the food. If we think of the springtime, we're getting a little bit heavier. It's wet, it's cold, it's damp. We want to start adding in things that will help lighten up the body. And this could look something like lighter root vegetables, carrots, burdock, turmeric. These are also going to be a little bit on the more bitter side. So if we think of the heaviness, this is foods that are sweet, sour, salty, heavy, cold, oily, like the ice cream, like your dairy, your cheeses, and all that stuff. Now is a good time of year to begin to exploring a little bit more spice, a little bit more bitter, a little bit more dry. So like rather than soups and stews, which still may be necessary for some of these colder days, but like what I started doing is roasting my vegetables in the oven. So there's a little bit more of a dry cooking process that happens rather than the wet and oily cooking process that happens when we stew and steam all those things. Yeah, but spices, seasonings, all this stuff can be so powerful for beginning to activate the body and for getting the body to begin to detoxify and let go of, potential accumulation that you may have been experiencing over the winter. So what do these look like? Well, as far as vegetables go, this could be Brussels sprouts, cabbage, carrots, cauliflower, celery, greens, bitter greens, collard greens, dandelion greens, endive, and then also some hot peppers, if you're into that, a little bit of spice, a little bit of garlic, definitely some ginger. These types of things, they're going to help keep everything moving. Your parsley, your radishes, the radish greens, your turnips, your turnip greens, all that stuff is really going to help keep things moving. As far as spices go, if you like black pepper, a little bit of black pepper, and again, some chili, maybe some clove, maybe some cayenne, rosemary, oregano, like get creative here, but spices do really interesting things to the body. And a couple of spices that I will be having probably on a daily basis. This is going to be a little bit of ginger, a little bit of black pepper, maybe even some mustard. But mixing that with a little bit of clove, some coriander, and some fennel, and just like really adding all this stuff together and seeing like, okay, this is going to help my body and the digestive system begin to activate. And doing that in combination with my little bit more activating movement routine just to get the sweat going, this is what helps me. This is what makes me feel really good. Another thing this time of year is astringent. So like including things that are astringent by nature into your diets. This could be something like mung beans, what I really like. You could even sprout those and add a little bit more vibrancy and a little more aliveness to it. This could look like basically any types of beans, really. Your lima beans, your lentils, your kidney beans, garbanzos, split peas. All those things are really going to help. And, ultimately, come spring, come a few months down the road, we're going to be seeing all these little bright green herbs that are going to have very bitter qualities to them. Those are going to be really good to be adding into your food as well. Things like dandelion and the nettle and the mints and the fennel leaves and so on. So getting curious about like, what is nature providing right now? Like what are the qualities of nature, and then how can I invite in opposing qualities to bring about more balance, more harmony in the body? So that's just a little bit on the foods. And again, in combination of that with what I spoke about in the past episode of just a little bit more activating exercise to increase circulation, that's really going to help with the mood. It's really going to help with your immune system. But a couple other self-care practices you can add in here. This would be neti pot. So like really cleaning out, doing some nasal irrigation to keep that stagnation of mucus from building up in the sinuses. This is going to help with the immune system. What's also cool about this transition into spring is that this is naturally a time of year when, well, at least with our ancestors, that food would become a little bit more scarce. So they would tend to eat a little bit less. And this is really important because if we think of the bogginess, the heaviness and wetness outside, we want to keep our digestive system nice and active. And we do that through activating the body. So we actually become hungry. So we're activating the metabolism to need energy, to need fuel, but also through meal spacing and not constantly throwing stuff in the gut, in the belly, in our mouth to bog down the digestive fire. Like we want to keep that active. And maybe this means coming down to 2 meals a day. Maybe this means cycling through even just having 3 meals still, but creating a little bit more space in between those meals. So not snacking. Anything that you can play around with really that's going to help ignite the digestibility that your body has, then that's going to help in the long term, because that digestive fire is going to help build up, again, that stored accumulation. And then in combination with the activity and the activation of the metabolism through your exercise, it's just a great recipe for feeling good, moving into the spring with a little more lightness and with, a little bit more of a balanced body, clear mind. So why not? So what I'm going to do is put a link to a really interesting article from LifeSpa. And this comes with a full spring grocery list of like things to include. And really helpful. So I'll put that on there. Check it out. And boom. Yeah, I think that's it. So, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for listening. And again, if you find this valuable, insightful, if you find any value whatsoever, I just ask that you share it with a friend, that you leave a review, or even reach out to me. And again, you can email me, Alec at higherself.yoga. You can connect with me over on the website and check it out. Either way, I hope you enjoy this transition into spring, and I hope that you find balance, peace, flow, and harmony in nature and in yourself, because we are nature. And if we come back to understanding that, we come back to wholeness, back into health, back into connection, and begin to enjoy life just a little bit more. So, until next time, thanks for tuning in. Take care.